Wanted to talk to you guys about selling with displays and why it's so very important because I truly believe that you can double your sales when you sell with a great display and kind of what it takes to get there. And for Big Top, as a company, as a group of exhibitors, this is the goal. I mean, we want everyone to make great sales at events. And we know that it's not always just about the product, it's not just about the price, but it's also about the presentation. So kind of if you guys would help me and drop in the chat, kind of what do you sell? Because that'll help me as we move along here for me to kind of customize and tell you guys specific things about displays and give you tips. So there's a little chat bar. And if you don't mind just to drop in the chat, what type of product do you sell? So I know who's here. And here's the thing, guys, like we do these Zoom calls and all this stuff. And a lot of times we do like question and answer, but if there's no participation, then it's really hard to make it valuable for everyone. So participation is key. All right, candles and jewelry with gemstones. All right, perfect. So there's going to be some really good examples in here for candles, as well as jewelry. And I think jewelry is one of the hardest products to display because it's typically very small. But I have some really great examples in here of how it can be done. So which best describes you? Drop me an A, B, or C. So again, I can kind of see what everybody is thinking, where you're at. So which describes you? You're A, so just type in an A. You want something easy. You want to be the first one packed up at closing and get out the door. Drop a B if you don't have the budget, you think that getting a great display is going to be too expensive. Or C if you're really trying, but it just doesn't seem to be working. You don't think you have the creative bug. All right, C. All right, well, good. I'd rather have a bunch of C's than A's and B's because at least you're trying. A's, I get this all the time. I'm just going to speak honestly with you guys right now. Like I get this at the shows when, exhibitors will be like, let me take it back a step. My goal for all the exhibitors at a Big Top event, the sales goal that I put out there for you is 10 times your booth fee in sales. And even 7 times, 8 times, 9 times is still really good. 10 times your booth fee in sales, you're really making money at the event. So let's say you're at a Big Top outdoor, one of our shopping festivals, 2 days, you paid $170 for your booth, then I want you to sell $1,700 in product that weekend. And I'm telling you, it's being done. It's being done by most of the exhibitors out there. We have had people sell $6,000, $8,000 on a $170 booth. Like talk about return on investment. So when you want to be the first one to leave and someone will say, well, come look at my booth because I'm not selling very well, I only did $300 or $400. And I tell them right away when I walk up, it's your display. But I don't want a big display. I just want to be out of here in 5 minutes. I just want to have one load to come in. Well, that's fine. But then no, that's what your results are going to look like. Your results are directly related to the effort that it puts to put on a great display. Our big boutiques that do $8,000, $10,000, $15,000 in a weekend or in a one-day event selling clothing, but they're the first ones there, they're the last ones to leave. It's a heavy setup, it's a big ordeal. So it's just kind of like everything in life, right? The effort is directly related to the reward. B's, I don't have a budget, it's too expensive. There's ways around that. Things can be expensive, but if you're crafty, DIY, you have someone in your family who's crafty, you can definitely make great displays on a budget. But I'll tell you, just from a personal note, I would consider myself a penny pincher. I would consider myself someone who's very frugal. And there's been so many investments that we've made in the business that were so outside of my comfort zone. Like purchasing tents, purchasing trailers, purchasing cabinets for in the trailers. And David, my husband, he is the one who pushes me like, no, we really need this. This is an investment. This is going to come back. And coming back to me as a salesperson, like, well, how is this going to come back? Because it doesn't directly relate to selling a product that's going to result in money. But I will say he has been right every single time. Every single investment that we've made in our supplies, in our display, in our operation to make the show better has truly resulted in growth. And so sometimes you do, if you're like me and you're frugal and you're on a budget and you pay attention to those things, then you have to look at it that way, as this is an investment. Because I'm telling you, think about whatever your average sales dollars are for a show right now. So let's just say you average $800 at a show in sales, and you come out with a killer display, double that number at least. So now you went from $800 to $1,600 consistently at every single market. So it's truly worth the investment. And then I'm trying, it's not working. Everyone seems to get it. I'm not creative. I get it. I have so many ideas. I have a Pinterest board I'm going to share with you. I'm 100% on board with everybody getting the best display. You can email me, you can call me, you can message us on social media, ask questions, ask advice, ask where to buy something, and I'm all about getting it to you. So my goal by the end of the day is that we all 100% want to sell more and look our best. You have a vision of what you want and what you need. You have the tools and resources to get started. I'm going to tell you guys a few places that you can buy ready-made things, give you some ideas there. And you're really excited to see this work. And that's what I love. We've been doing Zoom calls for about a month now. Last month, they were more open to just Q&A and everyone could kind of talk about what they wanted to talk about. And we always got on the topic of display. And it was so great to see so many people at Old Town Spring that were like, look at my new backdrop, look at my new banner, look at my new this and that. And so actually being excited to grow your business is great. So I can't right now. So who is this crazy lady Melissa anyway? And if you add up all these years, you're like, this doesn't make sense, because you'd be like 80 years old, but a lot of the stuff overlaps. So when I tell you I know what I'm doing, I really do know what I'm doing. I started my first company at the age of 14 when I went and bought some print at home business cards at Office Depot, printed cards, went door to door, soliciting myself that stores could hire me by the hour to independent small business owners. It wasn't long until I was booked every Saturday and Sunday and every single day after school. And then I said, you can hire my friends, but you have to pay me because I want to keep 50 cents an hour every time they go to work, and I'm going to be a labor company. This is just something that comes natural to me. I love it. I've been in multi-level marketing as a leader. I've hit those bonuses. I've gone on all those trips. I've been in direct to consumer sales. That's where I started at 14, selling in retail, growing in retail, being a store manager of one of the largest chains in the country at one of the most high volume stores. Then I went into business to business sales. So then going from like what we do right now as Big Top is kind of both of these. What you do most of the time is direct to consumer. You're selling to the customer. And what we do as Big Top is we're business to business. We're a business selling to you as another business to come out and be a part of our events. And so I used to sell cosmetics wholesale and get those products into stores like Nordstrom and Macy's and Dillard's and salons and spas across the country. Retail and merchandising, kind of going back to the retail days of understanding planograms and why things are merchandised in a certain way. And it might not always be the way that you personally would like it, but it's more about the psychology of the customer and what's going to get them to buy. Telemarketing, social media sales. I actually started this kind of Big Top journey because back about, I don't know, probably going on 12 years now, somewhere around there, when Facebook first started doing advertising, and most people went on Facebook to say, this is a sandwich that I ate for lunch. I was working for the cosmetic company and I said, hey, this social media thing is going to be huge. And this is what we need to do to make money and sell on social media. And the company said, you're crazy. That's silly. People go on social media to talk about the sandwiches they ate. It's not for business. And I said, okay, fine. I'm going to go do it on my own. So I left the company to start selling products online, leveraging social media and online retail. So I've had multiple boutiques sold multiple products online, events, being a vendor. I've sold beside you at these events. I've done wedding shows, I've done craft shows, I've probably done half of the markets that you're registered for this year selling products. And even though I was someone who was able to set up in 15 minutes and be out in 15 minutes, I also had a killer display. My average sales were about $3,000, and I sold a jewelry product, so a competitive area. And then event promotion. So Big Top itself, running events and doing events. We've been doing that for about 5 years. So I just want you to know that when I come to you and I'm giving you advice, and especially when we're at the markets, and I might come off as a little bit harsh of, this is what you need to do. I'm telling you, because this is what you need to do. I want you to make sales and I want you to be successful. So the next question I always get is, well, then what have you sold? And I say, what do people want to buy? Because I'm not in the business of emotions. I'm in the business of making money, right? Let's be real here. We have two types of exhibitors and neither one is wrong. Neither one is wrong. We have people who truly enjoy a hobby, crocheting, making jewelry, making candles, making soap, even selling clothing. It's something that they enjoy, but it's not really a business to them. They might have a full-time job. They have another income stream. If they make money, that's great. They enjoy being at the shows. They enjoy being around people. They enjoy getting to share their crafts and wear with other people. And like I said, if they make a little bit of money, they're happy with that. That's completely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Then we have people who want this to be their career. They want this to be their business. They want to make money. Most of the time, what we see is couples. One person's still working full time. One person's trying to get this business up and running so the other person can quit their job or retire early, and they can, really take control of their lives and have financial freedom as far as like, not necessarily being the richest person, but being able to afford their bills, afford going on vacations, afford their lifestyles while having their freedom and time back, not having to punch the clock 40 hours a week. And then we also have people who are out there like, you know what, guys, I'm just going all in on this. Like, I'm a single person or I am married, but you know what? I don't know. I'm just going to take the leap of faith and I'm going to start this business and we're going to make money at it. So why I say when people always ask me, well, what have you sold? And I say, well, what do people want to buy? I'm in the business of selling things that people want to buy. I'm not in the business of, I like making this craft and it's my hobby and I want to share it with the world. So think about that too. You do have to be honest with yourself when you look at your product and say, is this a viable product that people really do want to buy? Or is this something that I like to do and I want to share it with the world? And if you can answer that question from the get-go and be honest with yourself about what type of business you have, what goals do you have, then everything will really fall into place. Because when I say to someone who this is a hobby, I want you to make 10 times your booth fee in sales, and I want you to come to the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo, where the smallest booth is $700. So I'm hoping that you're going to sell $7,000 in 10 days. And it's just not realistic, right? So you need to know that where you are in your business, because I can't always tell just by looking at your booth, looking at your products, because there are some products I get blown away with how much you sell. So, oopsie, I don't know what's going on here. Sorry, I started a timer somehow and it took off on its own. All right. So the goals of merchandising is first and foremost to grab their attention. I'm telling you, especially when you go to like a Big Top festival, when we're outside, we've got live music, we've got the kids zone, we've got people walking around eating the cotton candy and the kettle corn. There's traffic, there's 10,000 people, they're trying to push their way down the aisles. And we have 300 exhibitors. The brain is already overwhelmed, even if the person doesn't feel it. The person's like, I'm drinking in my Bloody Mary, I'm walking with my friends, I'm having a good time. I don't have any anxiety. That's right. You don't have any anxiety, but your brain is overwhelmed by all the stimulation that is going around them. So a lot of times they can't even see. And when I say see, like mentally comprehend what they're looking at when they're walking by. So you have to stand out. You have to grab their attention, have a display that is so unique, so cute, so on point that the brain is like, oh, what's that? When you have a tent with some tables and the products are laying on the table, first of all, you've lost all your visual, because people can't see what's on that table until they actually walk up into your booth and look at the table. How many times have people been streaming by your booth and they didn't even walk in to see your product? And you're like, hey, what the hey, why are you even here? why aren't you stopping in? Why aren't you looking at my product? If you drove all the way to the event, you'd think they'd at least want to stop at each booth. This is what's happening in their brain. Their brain is so overwhelmed, it's sending them the signal of there's nothing there. That's just a table, nothing there. You're here to shop. You're here to buy something. You're here to find something unique, whatever they were talking about in the car. So the brain is telling the person, we are looking for the unique thing. And a lot of times it's not like they didn't want to stop by or they wouldn't have liked your product if they didn't walk in, but there was no visual appeal to actually get the brain to stop and say, whoa, this is interesting. Let's go and take a look. They need to understand what you sell in 2 seconds. Again, going back to the brain is firing in all directions and it has very little energy to process information. So when we get into products, you'll see what I mean. But if you sell, for example, shirts, tumblers, jewelry, candles, if you have one type of product, you're not a boutique that has a bunch of different things, they need to understand exactly what you're selling in 2 seconds flat. And you want to make it easy to say yes, inviting, easy to understand the booth, easy to understand cash wrap. This is a side note just off of display for a second, but I had at least 3 or 4 messages after the last big top in Conroe from shoppers who were like, hey, we really wanted to buy something, but the vendor would not stop talking to their neighbor. And we stood there for like a minute and they, never like even acknowledged us. So we walked away. And I'm like, man, wow, if I got 3 or 4 messages, how many more people did it happen to that didn't send us messages, right? So think about that too. You want to make it easy to say yes. You want to be available, attentive, have it easy to understand cash wrap, be able to be found. So keep that in mind. And then be memorable for future repeat buyers. When you have a great display, people remember it. And then when they go to another event and they see you again, all of a sudden, first of all, they want to stop and say hi. I mean, when I was an exhibitor, you'd have no idea how many people would stop and say, hi, I saw you at this. I met you at here. I bought at this place. And it really helps to build that rapport and that relationship. And if you're someone like soap, candles, clothing, any type of bath and body perfume, cosmetic items, food, especially like pickles, dips, salsas, anything where someone is using the product and then they need to rebuy it again, you want to have that memorable display so that when people see you, they're like, oh, that salsa is amazing. Let's go get some because I loved it. But when you don't have a memorable display and their brain can't focus, they might not even see that you were there. So let's not work so hard. Let's work so smart, right? So I have some pictures here and I want to kind of talk through the different things about these displays that I really like and some things that I want you to keep in mind when it comes to making more money by selling through your display. So the only thing we're changing is our display, not changing our product, how we sell, our pricing, any of that. All we're doing is investing in the display and we're making more money. So the first one here on the left, it's memorable, right? You've got this cute like cottage shabby chic, and the products inside are really displayed. There's room. A lot of times what I see with boutiques is we stuff the rack so thick so we can get so many products on there. People can't even get through each item to see what's inside. So now you just lost sales. This middle one I love because of the colors. Branding, right? Knowing your colors and picking some brand colors and then sticking with them. So this brand is obviously yellow and pink. And so it's bright, it's memorable. People will come back and they will remember it. But what I really love is this pegboard is genius because if you do have smaller items like she does here with the bags and little cosmetic bags, you can hang stuff and you can keep your same display but not necessarily be pigeonholed into, I have to have this shelf and I have to have a product that's this size. You can change it up. This over here, guys, I'm telling you right now, if you have a great display, me as a promoter and every other promoter in the industry everywhere wants you there. We want the show to look good because when the show looks good, the customers are happy and they come back again and again. So you might see that there's particular vendors out there and it's like, man, how do they always get the best spot? It doesn't matter if I go to Liberty or Canton or Big Top or here and there, they're always there and they always get front, center row. How do they do it? Well, they probably are doing it because they have a great display. So if somebody came into a show and had these little walls made, which are nothing more than a piece of plywood, I mean, these are basic props like plays, easy to transport, lightweight, easy to put together on the spot. But if you have that in your booth, girl, you better believe that you're going to be front and center at my shows because it's so darling and cute. It will get people excited. It will definitely catch their attention. It's 100% memorable. You're going to get great exposure and placement. And people at the very least will be curious and they want to know what this is all about. And you know what? They're probably going to want to take their picture in front of it, to be honest, because that's what people are loving to do these days. So again, maybe it's not a French bakery like this, but somewhat of a facade where it actually makes your store look like a store, would be where I would want to go if I were still a vendor at shows. All right, so the next one over here, what I like about it, it's very simple. It's probably a piece of plywood if I had to guess. It's just a simple solid color as a backdrop. And then she's able to merchandise her different items on there. Hold on one second, guys. So sorry. Oh, sorry, I'm trying to. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Four kids home in the summer, so there's always something popping over here. All right, so I like this one because it's very simple. It's probably a sheet of plywood if I had to guess, because she has products nailed onto it. It's a solid color. If you're not 100% sure about your branding, if you're still going to be selling this product next year, I completely get that. I've also had people who are like, it's not necessarily their booth or their product. They're just a contract person who's selling at events and they're making commission on their sales. And I've said, well, you need a backdrop. You're going to sell better. Well, why would I want to buy a backdrop? I don't even own this company. I'm just making sales commissions. Well, do you want to double your sales? Yes or no? If that's the case and it's not your company, buy a solid colored one. And when you go and you sell for somebody else, take it with you. So very simple. The little neon lights, those are so easy to get these days. You can buy them online and I think they're great. I'm dying for someone to have this. I have recommended it to so many people and nobody has taken it up as their display. I think this would be awesome if you don't have a huge inventory line. So I know, like, especially with candles, so there are some candle vendors that can fill a 10 by 20, a 10 by 30 with tons of different product and inventory, and that's great. And then we have candle vendors who have, maybe 6 different scents, and they don't really put all their product out, and that's fine as well. This would be perfect. Instead of flowers, you could have little shelves here. This is also great for jewelry if you don't have like a big jewelry line. I also think it would be great for tumblers. It's memorable. It's so stinking cute. Like I said, if anybody came to the show with one of these, I'd make sure they'd have a primo location. You're merchandising up, which we're going to start talking about that, but you're merchandising up instead of flat on the table. So again, when someone's walking by and they see this, it's going to catch their attention. They're going to see your product because it's standing up. If this is a seller, I know exactly what they sell. They sell roses. And you're going to be able to make a memorable impression. So of course you can do different colors, different styles, but it's the general example that I want to show you. This is the dream right here. Both of these are like my dream that I want to see. Now, Garnier, this one, obviously it's much more of a professional display. That's going to be an investment, but I also think it can be done DIY. I think that it can be done on a budget. And if it is something you're interested in, I can help you connect you with carpenters who most of them are vendors themselves of Big Top to get it built for you. But you know exactly what's being sold here. This is great if you sell one type of product. So you have like a jewelry cleaner, you're selling Bloody Mary mix, you're selling, wine mixed drinks. Like you're selling something that you, sorry guys, I'm not firing on all cylinders myself this morning, but you're selling something that is kind of standard. And what I mean by standard is you have one type of product that you're selling. So it could work for candles. It could work for even like gourmet food, like salsas, the crunchy, you know, the freeze dried snacks. Like it can work for so many things. You have awesome visual, everything is going vertical. You know exactly what they're selling, and you have a beautiful cash wrap. And honestly, you're like contained, like your booth is contained. You just throw that up everywhere you go, and I think it would be great. This one much more simple, but I love it. It's a showstopper. You get your backdrop. I'm gonna show you why backdrops are so important here in a minute when we get into some photos from previous events. But this is simple. I mean, simple, simple, simple. You have a little frame here. And then what I'm assuming is one piece of fabric that runs from the front to the back. And then I would probably not run fabric, but I'd get some type of rug that matched for the bottom. And then you have your table. So we're talking about direct sales. This is amazing. Any type of cosmetic product. Something where it's more of like a consultation and a chit chat, and not necessarily like you have a lot of inventory. What's that called? Like red ribbon, Ruby Lane, one of those two, the bras, different things like that. If someone comes with this, I'm going to be so impressed, and you're going to be straight away in one of the best spots because I just love it. I think it's adorable. Over here, the different shelving units, like home decor, if you have like a lot of smaller items, jewelry as well, like anything where you have a lot of kind of smaller knick-knacky type things, these crates can be great. And talk about setup and tear down as a breeze. Well, the product that you display just goes straight into the crate, and then you just take it straight to your vehicle. There's some that are collapsible, so that's great if you have like a smaller vehicle. And then I love how they painted the insides again for branding and brand colors so that we can be memorable and they can remember who you are. So the next time they see you, they come back and buy again because they had a good experience. And all people yearn for connection. All people yearn for acceptance from peers. And when I say peers, I'm talking so primal. I'm talking about just other humans. Like they all want, everybody wants to be accepted and basically make friends. So if a customer had a great experience with you and you guys chatted it up and she bought something and she gave it as a gift and that person loved it, well, now she has a psychological, emotional connection to you that if she buys a great gift from you once, she can buy another great gift from you again. So, you know, little things like that do matter. And so being memorable. So when she comes to a show, she's like, oh my God, there's, you know, Lucy, and goes and shops with you again. This here is something I would also love to see. This is, you gotta have vision, guys. You gotta have vision with me. This is probably a real store, right? Like a real place, but you could very easily do some walls, 3 walls, and then you can have your merchandising inside. Obviously, maybe not an ice cream stand, but you could have different merchandising inside. And then I just love the whole idea of having like an awning on the front. So again, a lot of this, when we look at it, we're not bringing like real buildings in, we're bringing in props. So when I was a vendor and I wanted things like that made to make my display great, I would go to like Facebook Marketplace or Facebook groups, and I'd be like, who makes show props, theater props? Are there any theater kids around who want to make a couple dollars? Like there's ways to get it done without necessarily going to like a professional company to build it, because yes, then that's going to be like thousands upon thousands of dollars. But if you get on Facebook and you're like, hey, is anyone in here in theater, in wood shop, anybody's kids want a project, and you know, I'm going to throw $250 their way. There's a whole lot of like 16 to 20-year-old kids out there. They're actually pretty good at getting stuff done, and they will gnaw their arm off for $250. And that $250 to you is an investment that can easily turn into $2,500, $5,000, $10,000 as you add up different shows. So that's another thing I like to look at in budgeting as a side note is how many shows do you do a year? And then these type of investment costs divided by that many shows, and you'll really see it's worth it. If you're doing, you know, 20 shows a year and cost you $200, so we're talking about what, $10 a show is your cost, it's $10 is nothing compared to how much you could actually be making and selling. So for people to understand what you sell in 2 seconds, right? Like when I look over here, I understand what she sells. She sells girly things, right? It's all pink. She sells girly accessories. It's probably going to smell really good. If I'm a girly girl, I'm automatically going to be drawn to it. If I'm shopping for a gift, like holiday season for a girly girl, then obviously I'm going to be drawn to this booth as well. Leather bags. You know exactly what they sell in 2 seconds. They don't have the bags. Like I see a lot of people sell bags off of the waterfall merchandising hooks. So those are like the arms that come out, but they're kind of tilted, slanted down, which is great. But now the customer is going to have to go through and look through each one. And most people don't want to do that. You have to understand as a nature, as psychology for most customers, they do not want to bother anyone. That's why the first thing they will say to you when they meet you is, I'm sorry. If they're at a show and you're sitting there and they have a question about your product, they're going to start with, I'm sorry to bother you. I'm sorry. I have a question. And so it's human nature and instinct. You can be the most type A aggressive person out there, but we still, as a society, don't want to bother people. So make it easy for them. They don't have to bother you. It's available for them. They know exactly what they can get. They don't have to touch it and look through things. How many people have you sold to that they pointed to the product? They didn't even want to touch it. They don't want to mess up your display. I want that one. Can I have that one? So make it easy for them to point and get to the product without really having to shuffle through a bunch of other products and go through the whole display to find it. This one on the right, I think is amazing for jewelry. If I were selling jewelry again, I'd probably go out and make something just like this. This could be done in a couple different ways. Why I like it is it's modular. So this could be a cabinet that closes up and locks and is on wheels, and you roll it into a trailer. But most people who sell jewelry don't have trailers because you don't need one. It's so small. So I also think it could be made into smaller sections. So we're like, this is a section that comes off. This is a section that comes off. This comes into 2 pieces. This comes into 2 pieces. So that way it kind of is like multiple little boxes. So you can put them in the back of truck, SUV, car, what have you. And then when you get to the show, you kind of assemble it with some wing nuts and it's put together. But I think it's great. It's memorable. It gets the products up, 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 up. We want to go vertical. We want to go visual. That's what it's all about. When we have products laying flat on a table, like I was saying before, people just walk by. They don't even see it. This is actually a true story. We have a jewelry vendor who does everything is handmade. A lot of stuff is like wire, different knots of wire. And I walked by her booth 2 or 3 times on Saturday and couldn't really tell what she was selling. Obviously, I knew it was jewelry, but I didn't realize, honestly, how beautiful it was. And I didn't realize it was handmade. All I just saw was a bunch of jewelry laying on a table. And I'm like, oh, another fashion jewelry person with cheap jewelry. It wasn't until Sunday, it rained out, like everybody was pretty much gone. There's only a handful of vendors left. So it's really got to spend a lot of quality time with the people who were still there. And I really saw how beautiful it was, all the beads, like all the different colors, how she had so many different colors of the wire. And I ended up purchasing a bunch of Christmas items from her because I thought it was just so cool. But the way that she had it displayed the first Saturday when it was busy and there's a bunch of people there, I just honestly thought it was like beaded jewelry from, down on Harwin, and you can pick it up anywhere. So getting your product up off the tables and at eye level where people can see it, I'm telling you guys, it's so, so, so important. Like if you take away one thing today, take that away, is use all of your booth space. When we buy booths and we're buying a 10 by 10, yes, you're getting 10 foot wide and 10 feet deep, but guess what? You're also getting 10 plus, however high the ceiling is, up vertical. Let's get more product up. You can sell more when you get more product up on the walls. This one I love. I think it's freaking cute. This would be great for tumblers, to get tumblers displayed. Obviously books, so, I mean, you can do it for jewelry, you can do it for food, you can really do it for everything, but it's really simple. What I love about it is this little house design. I mean, so simple, but so memorable. Then they have this as a backdrop with more shelving, and then they are easy to find. You know exactly where they are. You have visual of them at all time. And then different levels of shelving on the front. I think it's a home run hitter for sure. Like, again, all of these displays are so great that I'm telling you, if you have this display and you're like, hey, Melissa, I want to do this event, I'm like, moving mountains for you, girlfriend, because I want you to be front and center, because you're going to bring the show. You're going to make the customer's experience better because you brought the show, you brought the experience, you made it cute. The people walk in, the endorphins are released in their brain. They're like, oh my God, this is so cute. When I hear that, I know we're going to be making money today, right? Like, when they say, oh my God, this is so cute, this is so fun, oh, this place looks so great. Now they've just released all their endorphins, they've let their guard down, and they've got their wallet out. Understanding what they sell in 2 seconds. You know, it's like the hats, the mannequins on top, going full visual and vertical. It looks like this was maybe during setup because we have some other stuff going on. But the point here is I know exactly what they sell and they're going vertical. Here, art. I know we have some art, we have some photographers, even like books could probably be in this example, and even honestly, tumblers could do this, but this is something very simple. It's one of those like Asian wall dividers. We're talking about 3 pieces of wood with some hinges. Anybody can make this, guys. If you know someone who's just a tiny bit crafty, or you want to go back to the woodworking class, like I was saying earlier, the prop makers, they can make you this so simple, folds flat, goes straight into your trunk, straight into your SUV, and then different shelving. And if you can do modular shelving, like you can make it different heights depending on what you need at the moment, that's even better. Sorry guys, 1 second, I will be right back. All right, so t-shirts. T-shirts is a highly competitive business at shows. Like sublimation shirts, screen print shirts, all the shirts, right? The person with the best shirt display is the person who sells the most shirts. That is how it is. So know what you sell in exactly 2 seconds. We have people with t-shirts, they come and they bring a rack and they, you know, put them on the hangers and then they hope to make some sales. That's not going to work, guys. You've got to get your products out there. Something like this with shelving, it's easy. They can find their own sizes. The designs are right here. Nobody's going to go through and look through these unless they've already decided that they're going to buy. So having your shirts up, out, stretched out, all the visual, that's what you need. This is a picture I took actually at Cavender's, and I was like, oh my God, how easy is it to make this? And what a great display. So they're able to display what, 40 or 50 shirts here? This is crazy. This is a lot of display that they were able to get out of a small space. And then again, they have the shelving on the bottom for the backstop. So highly recommended if you sell something like shirts, sublimation, customizable items, embroidery, all that kind of stuff. You've got to get your product up and out, because if they can't see it, they are not going to buy it. Here's a great one here. It's very simple. Again, something that is small. You could even have multiple of these, right? So I wouldn't come with just one of these because you're going to be in a 10 by 10. So now you're going to have a lot of dead space, but you could break it into smaller pieces. So that way you can fit it into your vehicle, van, SUV, larger car. You can put the seats down in the back, might fit in there. And then again, you have your shelves. So when you have smaller items, what looks better? This or tables with a tablecloth and then your products on them below eye level, down towards the midway section where people don't look, because people don't want to look at people's fat or think they're fat, right? So get your products up, display, vertical. This I love. Showstopper. Talk about you want to be the first one in the most high traffic area of the show. Yeah, bring these big walls in, baby. Bring that floor in. Trust me. Every show you go to, you're going to have the best placement, because every single promoter, hands down, I keep it repeating myself, but I want you to really grasp this and understand that even us promoters do have psychology as well. We want our shows to look good. So the better your display looks, the better placement you're going to get. Because when we see you register again, we're like, oh, hey, I know who that is. And then they want you to come back. Make it easy to say yes. These are examples of cash wraps. I think they're important because again, it lets people know exactly what they're supposed to do. I'm supposed to take the product to the cash register. I know that sounds silly, but that really is how you have to think. When we do copywriting, like when you write copy for websites and for product brochures and things like that, they always say, write it so a kindergartner can understand it. You don't want to use big, elaborate words. You don't want to use words that are outside of people's vocabulary. When you look at things, you want to say, could a kindergartner understand the process here? Could a kindergartner say, I want to buy this, I'm going to take it to the register? Yes. And it makes a huge difference because again, people are overstimulated when they're at these events. Their brains are not firing on all cylinders and their brain's like, I don't even know what to do. I don't know where to go. I don't even know how to start this sale. And then they just walk away because they don't want to go through that anxiety. So you want to make it easy for them to say yes. For clothing, for apparel, 100% this is the way to go. A lot of people will do racks and you can fit a lot more products on racks. I will agree with that. But most people do not want to look through racks. They want to be told what to buy. They want to be told what's in style. They want to be told what goes together. Why do you think the big dogs who spend millions of dollars on consultants every year to tell them how to sell more, talking about Macy's, Nordstrom, all these big retailers, why do you think they have tons of mannequins and they always display the product what? The top on top and the pants on bottom. This is the outfit. This is the scarf. This is the necklace and the hat that you wear with this shirt because that's what sells. People want to buy it ready-made. Why, when you say, oh, I got this at Ross, right? Someone's like, oh, that's a cute top. Where'd you get it? I got it at Ross. What's most people's reaction to that is, I never find anything in Ross. You're so lucky. No, you don't want to look. You don't want to go item by item, rack by rack, finding your own things and making your own outfits. Most people don't want to do that. Even if they think they do, psychologically inside, deep down, they want to be told what to do. So you have to tell them what to do and give them a merchandising display like this. If I have two boutiques next to each other, this one has a front facing display and the one next to them has racks, I guarantee you the front facing display is going to sell at least 2 times more than the person who has racks. It's just facts, guys. It's like, been doing this long enough, been talking to vendors long enough, been watching their booths long enough. I just know what's going to sell and what's not going to sell. This is what sells. So if you're on right now and you do clothing, get on board, baby, because this is what the market wants. Mannequins. We had an exhibitor on one of the other Thursday calls and she has, 2 or 3 mannequins in her display. And she said, oh my God, Melissa, it's amazing. Like, no matter what I put on that mannequin, it sells. Like, I'll have a product that I'll have it for 3 different shows and no one will buy one. And then at the 4th show, I put that outfit on the mannequin and then everyone sells it. Yes, girlfriend, I've been trying to tell you that. Yes, what is that telling you? You need more mannequins. If you only have 3, you need 6. If you have 6, you need 12. Let's get more mannequins out there. And there's different ways to do mannequins, but this is a great way. If your clothing is on top of your grid, you can make a shelf, have your whole flipping booth lined with mannequins because people want to know how to use the product, how to style the clothing, how to use the food. Why do you think food demos do so well, right? Or knives, like selling knives at shows, man, those guys make good money. They know what they're up to. The kitchen knives, but they're constantly demoing, constantly showing people how it's used, constantly giving people the idea that if I buy this knife, I'm gonna be chopping tomatoes tonight, living my healthier lifestyle, getting on my keto diet and doing the thing, right? So you've got to tell people what to do. Speaking of which, wow, I didn't even know that was going to be next. Cutco. What I actually love about this display is their tablecloth. If you do have a product and you have to go on the table, I feel you, but get the tablecloth that makes it easy for people to say yes. They completely understand who you are, what you do, what sets you apart, what's your market value, whatever's going to appeal to them to buy your product and get it out there and get a custom tablecloth. So free lifetime sharpenings, made in the USA, world's finest cutlery, guaranteed forever. Perfect. I know everything I need to know right now. If I'm someone who's all about the Made in America, shop small, America first movement, guess what? I'm already drawn to your booth because I see the American flag. So we've got that settled. Free lifetime sharpening. If you are frugal, if you are a person who looks for value, that is going to speak to you. Okay, if you cook a lot, you actually know like knives go dull pretty darn quick. So the fact that I'm going to spend more with you today by me buying made in America, shopping small, supporting a small business, and I get free lifetime sharpening, I'm on board. So if you have unique value propositions like that, if you have value to your brand, that's what you want to bring to the table. And that's what you want to put on your tablecloths or your banners. We're going to talk about banners and signs here in a minute. Logo is important, yes, but also talking about what you do, who you are, and how you are more unique is where we need to be. PDQ meals. PDQ meals, they slam dunk every single show. They do amazing. They have a great display. It's what I would call a cookie cutter display, right? They don't get creative every single show and think of something new to do. They do the same display because it works. It's easy for people to say yes. They do food. They sell casserole mixes and they do drink mixes. So they've got drinks over here, casserole mixes over here. These photo guys, I feel like they give no justice. Like all the photos, the ones that I took, not the ones I got off Pinterest, from our events, I'm like, man, I saw this booth in person and it looks so much better. So stick with me on that one. But the point is that people know exactly what they sell and they make it easy to try it and buy it. And then of course they have their branding in the back. So they've picked their brand colors, they're going red, black, and white, and everything matches that. So you can better believe if they buy it at Big Top and then they go to another event or they come to an event later in the year and they see PDQ again, they're going to remember and they're going to come and buy again because they like the product and they were able to see them, spot them, and come and shop with them again. This was probably one of the best displays. This was from the Marriott last year. Again, I feel like photo doesn't really do it justice as to how cute it really was, but you can see it's full of customers and those are probably all of their ideal shoppers. It's girly, it's frilly, and it's simple. It really is. So they got a flower wall backdrop for the back. They blew up some balloons themselves. And then all of their displays are colored, right? They're all gold. They're all from the same genre. And they brought a rug. And a rug, guys, is so simple, but I'm telling you, it elevates the display so much because again, when we go back to psychology and, catching people's attention, they see grass, rug. Wow. It's just like in the brain, it stands out. They're at the hotel, like this is at the Marriott, and they see the blue carpet. Oh, pink, this is nice. What's this? What's going on? All of a sudden the brain is interested, sending endorphins out saying, hey, let's take a look and see what's going on. So don't underestimate the power of just a cheap rug, but also a very simple display of racks that match their merchandise together and a little floral backdrop that they have here. Now, I wanted to show you the vendor on the back of that, right? So this is the front of the booth on one aisle, and this is the vendor that was directly behind them on a different aisle. When you don't have a backdrop, what happens? The back of your neighbor is now your backdrop. So the worst side of their business is now what's supposed to be grabbing people's attention to get into your booth. So if you're like, I don't want to deal with the backdrop because I don't want to carry it, I don't want to put it up, I don't want to do this and that. Think about this. What if you're behind someone who does have a backdrop? Now, is this stimulating to the brain? Which booth would you rather walk into? If you're shopping with your girlfriends, chit-chatting, drinking your latte, which one's going to grab your attention? Exactly. So backdrops, I can't stress to you how important they are, that they're so important that we're trying to move towards it's required. That's what we're trying to move towards, that backdrops will be required at Big Top events because it makes such a big difference in display, in sales, in the jive of the event. It just looks so good. Velvet Crush. They did a 10 by 10 here. That was their first event with us. They were at the Marriott and Dave was like, girlfriends, you guys have to have a 10 by 20. I mean, your stuff is packed. And they got a 10 by 20 and they never looked back. It warms our hearts when people actually take our advice and they're like, yeah, 10 by 20 is so much better for us. We sell more, we have more space, we can bring more product, we can do more merchandising. They merchandise completely different, but I wanted to show you their backdrop here. So very simple, custom printed fabric backdrop that they put up there, and they've chosen their brand color is like this peachy pink, and they get everything in that color, even their tent is that color, so it works out great and it's memorable. my mom shopped with them, and she, of course, didn't remember their names or their company names, but she was like, oh, hey, the ones with the pink backdrop. Yeah. Oh, I love their stuff. Are they going to be at the next show? Oh, they have the best plus clothing. Oh, I love it. So having something that people can attach to you. Oh, the one with the floral, the one with the pink, the one with the balloons, the one with the fill in the blank. That's how people are going to remember you. And that's how people are going to ask about you. And we get questions all the time, every single day on social media. We get questions of, is so-and-so going to be there? Oh, I bought this Bloody Mary mix. I can't remember what it's called. Are they going to be at this upcoming show? Because I want to get more. Do you remember the booth? They had like some blue balloons, and they had like this really big palm tree at the front. Yeah, that one. Can I get their contact information? Because I want to buy more stuff from them. We get those messages every single day. So people don't always remember your company name or your card, but they do remember what you sell and what you look like. And that's how they're going to describe you to us. And that's how we're going to be able to connect them to you. So if you just have a table and they're like, oh, it's just a table with a white tablecloth, and I don't know, the girl was really nice. Yeah, and she sold candles, but no, I don't remember what they look like. I don't remember the company name. Well, you just told me about 12 different candle vendors of mine. So I can't help you get to the person you want to spend money with. So help a girlfriend out here. This is another example. So we looked at the front of Velvet Crush. This is the back of Velvet Crush. Pretty impressed. Oh my goodness. Like they are also someone who really takes our advice and runs with it. Her display is completely different now. She has a greenery wall. She has neon lights. She has shelving. She has so many different things. But this is what happens again when you have someone with a backdrop and you don't. You get the worst side of their display. So keep that in mind too, of why backdrops are so important. And she brought the rug. So I want to talk to you about backdrops, kind of how much they cost, different ways you can do it, different styles. You can go on Amazon right now and put in black backdrop or black pipe and drape or something like that, and you can buy one for I think like $20. Now, when it comes to displays, you always get what you pay for. So think about that, because if it takes you 45 minutes to put together because it's a bunch of poles with little pins, is it worth $20? I mean, it costs you like $100 in labor just to put it up. So keep that in mind. Best of Signs, I recommend them all the time. I need to be an affiliate for them. Like I don't make any money off these guys, but it's where I buy most of our signs from. And I've always found their quality to be impeccable. When I do pricing research, which I'll only do like maybe once or twice a year once a year or once every 2 years, I'll go out there and search all the vendors and see about pricing, and they continue to be the best pricing out there, very fast shipping. So this one right here is called a pillowcase backdrop, and I'll post these slides on the website, guys, as well, so you can jot it down or you can get it off the blog soon. But this is a pillowcase backdrop. And so what a pillowcase is this here is fabric. The actual backdrop is fabric, which I love because you can wad it up in a ball and it's never going to wrinkle. Be careful with vinyl banners because vinyl banners do wrinkle and they do need to be replaced. You can't use a vinyl banner forever. They're a lot cheaper, but I call them retired. Like we retire big top banners as they become tattered and they get wrinkled. But anyhow, this is fabric, so it doesn't wrinkle. You can literally put it in a ball, and then it's a couple pieces of metal, and you put the metal together, and then you slip it on like a pillowcase, hence the name pillowcase, and it fits taut. You're good to go. Perfect. It doesn't really require a whole lot of engineering. Again, $225 is what the price was last night online. Another thing I like about Best of Signs is they always have a coupon. They always have 20% off, 15% off, something going on. So price may vary is what I want to say, but $225. Let's just say you're only doing one show a month on average for the year. So you're doing 12 shows a year. That's almost $19, $18.75 per event to have a backdrop that I'm telling you guys will double your sales. Like that's what we have to look at is our return on investment, right? This is adjustable banner stand. So you can make it taller, you can make it shorter, a little bit cheaper, but a little bit more finicky. Not going to lie. Like the pillowcase has just been so tried and true of being a good banner that you can rely on. The more times you have things that adjust, the more opportunity you have for them not to work. So the more mechanical things are, the more likely that you'll have trouble with them working. I'm not saying that you will. I just want you to be prepared that, again, it always goes back to you get what you pay for. So $120, and we're doing 12 shows a year. So we're talking about $10 a show to have a stellar display. And this is going to last you more than a year. But I'm just putting that out there as an example. And some of you do 50 shows a year. Some of you guys work every single weekend out of the year. This is unique, right? Talk about being memorable, having something different. This is really cool. So this is more of an exhibit hall backdrop. By the way, guys, when it comes to design, I would absolutely love nothing more than for you to reach out and say, help me design my banner because I don't know what I want. The last thing I want is for you to order something that falls flat, right? That's just like, yeah, white with your logo on it. It works. Could we have done better? Yes, but it works. Never hesitate to ask for advice, send examples, or just say flat out, I don't even know where to start. Because I do so much graphic design, guys, that I can whip you out a banner in like 20 minutes. So never hesitate to reach out. What I like about it is it's curved, it's different. You've got the little arch on top. What is not great about it, and this is a 10 foot, so it's going to fit exactly in the back of your booth, is you are going to lose a little bit of booth space, right? Because it's not exactly a flush square. So if you're already busting at the seams, this is probably not a good idea for you. But if you have a really small product and you don't necessarily use your full 10 by 10 space, this could be really good for you. And this could also be like hiding space for some of your personal items like your snacks. More on the DIY side, if you don't want to go with the banners and the like photo backdrop kind of look, this pegboard is something really new. I personally have not seen it at any of our events yet, but I've seen it all over the internet. And I think it's really cool because you get these big, thick pegs, and then you can make different shelves and different hooks and all the good stuff. So it's kind of like the old pegboard, just newer design. This is one that can be DIY very easily if you know someone who does woodworking carpentry. The wall is great. You can put these on wheels if you have a trailer, and then you're just straight out the door, and it looks so good. It looks so good. And wood is more sturdy, so you can also merchandise. This is a flat wall, but you could do shelving at the top. So you have your mannequins, you could do pegs, you can do shelving all the way down if you have smaller products. And then good old fashioned grid wall. I mean, everybody loves a good grid wall. Grid wall is so easy. I mean, literally you can leave it outside in the rain for 2 years and it's going to be fine. It never breaks. I mean, it's just tried and true, good old fashioned grid wall. But I will say about grid wall is that you can see through it. So I might have some photos coming up, but you can put a drape on the back. So that way you do have a solid backdrop instead of one that people can see through. Highly, highly recommended that you take that extra step if you're using grid wall. So that way, you know, people don't see into the booth behind you, because what's going to happen? They're going to be in your booth. They're going to see a product in the booth behind you and they want to go over there. And all of a sudden you don't have their attention. They're like, oh, what's going on over there? People start laughing. Oh, what are they buying? They're having fun. I want to go over there. No, we want them to stay here in your booth. So make it to where they cannot see out. Be focused on you. You guys know I love this one because it's the 3rd time we've seen it. But another example here of a DIY pipes, some pipes with a curtain. Be careful on that one. I've done quite a few different projects throughout the years trying to use PVC pipe, and it doesn't always end up exactly as stable as you want it. Sometimes it is better just to buy it and not DIY it, but I wanted to show you the style. Very lightweight, very easy to put up, very easy to transport in your vehicle. And then again, we talked about this one, but we have a frame here, a 4-legged frame, and then a drape that runs down the top and back. And I just think this awning sets you apart and makes it look adorable. So get me some awnings and I'll be happy. Didn't focus too much on like outdoor displays, but Best of Signs does do a whole line of custom canopies, backdrops, sidewalls. They even have little feather banners that you can put into the poles here. So lots of different things that can be done for outdoor displays as well. Now, Pinterest. I'm going to bring up my Pinterest board, and you guys can see the link on here. let me get it going for you guys real quick. Alrighty. So we have this Pinterest board over on Pinterest. And there are so many display ideas, and I'm constantly adding to this. Like, this is a picture I saw on Instagram yesterday just while I was surfing, and I'm like, oh, I need to put that on the vendor board. If I'm shopping out and I see something, I snap a picture and I put it up on the Pinterest board. So I'm constantly adding new things here. But if somebody specifically asks me, for their product. So like you're going to see a bunch of stuff about tumblers coming up because somebody specifically asked me recently about how to display tumblers. Then I'm going to go on there and I'm going to pin a bunch of stuff specifically for you. So if you ask about display, then you can go here and get some ideas. But I've also got like some ready-made shelving, some different types of displays. So I highly recommend that you come here and you kind of get an inspiration of what you're looking for, like goals, right? Like this is my goal for the boutique trucks and trailers. Like I have goals for everybody because I want you guys to look the best. I want Big Top to be the best, most exciting show that people want to go shop at because they know it's going to be unique. It's going to be like going through Pinterest, going through Instagram, flipping through a magazine. Just when they go there, they get all the visual stimulation. And at the same time, I want you guys to sell. Like I want you guys to sell so hot, so fast and furious that you're just like, oh, Big Top has something? Well, duh, it's already on the schedule. How much does it cost? We don't even care because we know we're going to make that plus 10 times more in sales. That's what I want. There's no reason to say no for everybody, right? You guys want to do it. You want to be there. You want to sell, and the customers want to come because they know they're going to get a great experience. And the only way they're going to get a great experience is for everybody to get on board and let's take this money train down the tracks, get on board and let's up our displays and really make an experience for people when they come to shop with us, not just a table with some products on it for sale, right? So lots of display ideas on here. You guys can come and check this out on your own. Here's a wall made out of pegboard. And like I said, never hesitate to ask, send questions, send messages, text. I don't care, whatever we got to do to get it done to find out what you need to do, right? So asking for advice, asking for design inspiration, what's going to work for you, all the good stuff. I'm here for it. All right, let me take us back to our presentation. All right, so that's the Pinterest display ideas board. Some vendors that I recommend for display is there's actually a place called displays2go.com, and they have everything, literally everything from fixtures. This is where people who go to the big professional expos, I'm not talking about shopping, I'm talking about like, oil field workers expo of the United States, the cosmetics expos, these big national trade shows. They get a lot of their display stuff from here. So they have everything, but they also have some smaller stuff as well. So it's a place to go check out good quality products, not necessarily the cheapest, I'll be honest. Best of Signs, I've talked about them several times. I mean, this is their website. So you see 20% off your first order. They always have a sale going on. They always have different products, and get on their email list because they send out emails like once a week, I would say, with some type of discount or promotion. But you can go through and see all the different types of products they have. They literally do everything. So from banners, tents, the pillowcase, all the backdrops that I showed you, but they also do like tablecloths, they do yard signs. I mean, they do everything. So go check that out. And guys, that actually is our presentation for the day. So I'm going to hit this button here to unmute all, and hopefully we don't have like dogs barking in the background or anything. But I think, let's see. I think that made it to where you can unmute yourself. So if you want to ask a question, now is the time. Just jump out there. Don't be shy. Ask a question, ask for advice. That's what we're here for. Because after this question and answer, then this presentation will be over. So if you don't ask it now, then basically you're going to miss your opportunity. So let's hear it. Anybody who has questions, wants direct advice, something specific about their business, go.
I have a question. This is Lucia with Aqua Rocks. How you doing today, Melissa?
Doing excellent.
I have a question with respect to rugs. Do you have any preferred vendors for rugs?
I don't have anyone off the top of my head. I will tell you styles. So there's kind of three styles of rugs out there. One is your indoor or your outdoor. They're usually for like patios and by the pool, and they're like a plastic feeling, like a woven plastic. They're fairly inexpensive. And what's great about them is you can just hit them with the hose and clean them if you need to, and they really do last a long time. My second best option is Ross because you can find rugs fairly inexpensive, $30, $40. And it's not going to be as durable, but to me, $30 or $40 after a few months, I'll throw it away and get a new one if I need to. And then the third option is there's a new type of rug out there that you can actually put in the washing machine, like the washer and I think the dryer. But they are expensive. So I would say it might have a great longevity because you can put it in the washing machine, but I don't think the cost is there yet. So I'd probably look at the pool rugs or a Ross rug.
Okay, thank you. That's good information. I'll check it out.
Mhm.
Hey, Melissa, I have a question. I do, we have turmeric infused products. So we have oils, olive oils that we sample. So we pour the oil, whichever one they want to try, we put the oil on a little piece of bread for them to try. And then also we do drink samples because we have teas and lemonades, and we make everything one at a time, so it's not like we put everything out there. So we always have a table in front where we do our samples, where we make the samples for the customers, and then we do our inventory on a table behind us.
Mhm.
And I love the on the, I think it was the very first slide you showed with the little Paris looking
Mhm.
thing, with the I love that. But we're doing samples, and it's always, a thing with being sanitary and clean and all that kind of stuff.
So what is your question?
So I guess just any ideas with that, because I like I said, the table and stuff, but we can't have stuff just sitting out there. And of course, if people come and sit down, because people do, because we're kind of talking to them while they're trying the stuff, it can get like, I would love to be able to have more of an open booth, an open, like a shop look,
Mhm.
more like a store look, but
Mhm.
um, so that more people could come in. But with having that kind of setup, and just wondering if you had ideas about that.
So maybe something similar to this in that if you can get one like your main product blown up, right? And this is like a 3D whatnot, but we could also do like a cutout, like a cardboard cutout, which there's vendors online who do that all day long. But something that's really big, since it's like this is the one product that we sell. And then maybe you have a counter that's pushed back a little bit so that way people can come inside and that's like your counter. But then you also have this hidden space behind your product display where that's where you have your back stock or where like the product is actually being made. So instead of we think about a booth like the front and then we cut it in half down the middle, you almost could cut it in half or maybe a third from the front. Does that make sense how I'm explaining it?
No, I didn't really get that. Oh,
Right.
I'm
It's hard
sorry.
because I'm like trying to use the mouse and I'm like, oh, like right here. And so, all right, imagine you have a cardboard cutout of your product right here.
Mm-hmm.
And you also, you have a wall or something so that it's a backdrop. Now, this space to where on the floor here it's empty and they have some more product displayed, that could be like your back of house where you're actually making the product. And
Mm-hmm.
then at the front, you have your counter, which you could even push it back a little bit if you want people to be able to like actually come inside. And that's the bar where you are talking to them.
Okay.
Let me go to the one that you like real quick because I'm dying for someone to bring this to the show. So you might just make my day. But I think this can also be a backdrop. It doesn't necessarily have to be the front of house. So this could be just your backdrop and you can make it like, tell me a little bit more about your brand. Like, is it a specific like a country? Like when I think of turmeric, I think of like the Middle East. So is that like part of your brand or is that's not part of your brand? Is this Cajun? Like what? Tell me a little bit more about what it is.
No, it's just not from a particular area, but just like we do cooking stuff. So we always say for our products, it tastes good and it's good for you. But we have customers that come to us because it tastes good, and some because it's good for you. It's all, everything is all natural and everything. But this reminds me, we actually have a shop, a boutique, and this we have a couple of little tables and chairs set up like that, and so it's more welcoming. Like when people come in, we don't have tons of stuff on the shelf. Everything is like displayed. We have all our inventory in the back, so kind of trying to mimic that, even though, and sometimes people do come and sit down, but most of the time they come and they walk around and we give them the samples, and you know it's just a little more comfortable, a little Paris feel, I guess, a little like uh like that. I just love how that looks. That seems so fitting if I could make that work.
Yes, I'm telling you, get on Facebook and ask for kids who are in the prop class at school. Um, so your product, is it sold like in spice jars or how does it come sold?
We do. We have so the drinks, the teas, we sell them loose and in tea bags. We also sell bottled tea, bottled lemonade. So those are cold. We have to keep those in a cooler. And then our oils are sold in a bottle. The seasonings are sold in, a little spice jar, like you said. But then when we do the sample, we have a little plate. We put the bread on there. We pour the oil on there, little seasoning, and and we give that to them then.
Okay. So I would definitely, I think that people like seeing the products as well. Like I understand some of them you have to keep cold, so that's easy. But I would put some little shelves in here. And even if it's not like all of your inventory, but just having some of the inventory out, so people can see like, this is sold in a spice jar, this is sold in a tea bag. Because I think it does help with visual. And I know this actually happened to me at one of our events. Someone was selling body oil. And not only do they make it, but they actually they grow all of the ingredients to make this body oil. And it smells so good. So I wanted it. And the way she had it was kind of like all the testers were on display and then the inventory was in the back and she would put your order together. Well, this little bottle of oil was $25 and I've already told you guys how frugal I am. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, man, I really want this, but do I really want to spend $25 on this little bottle of oil? So I'm like, you know what? Support the vendors, Melissa, go for it. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to get the oil. Well, then she pulls out the real product to put in the bag and it's like 3 times bigger than her little sample one. And it's like, well, had I known that I was going to get the 3 times bigger one, I would have never questioned buying it. So sometimes you do want to have, even if it's not your full inventory, a little bit so that people know what they're getting because you don't want them to not buy.
We always have displays out there. We always have at least one of everything out where they can see it and touch it and hold it and look at it.
Yes. Well, I like it. I think this can be a front of house where people come in, but it could also be a back of house. It could be your backdrop if you needed it to be, to make it work. So I can't wait to see it when you bring it to the show. What show are you bringing it to?
In July to Beaumont.
Okay, I hope to see it in July. That would be amazing.
Yes. I'm excited.
Absolutely. All right. Any other questions?
Melissa, it's Lucia again. You had mentioned something about backdrops for grids. I'm also thinking about not only bringing a grid, but also a bookcase as well. So can you speak on that a little bit? I mean, I'm not quite sure. I'm not creative at all. And I'm not quite sure how I would get a backdrop for a grid or a bookcase,
I'm
how I
trying
would get a cover on there.
if I have a picture of one. I think I have a picture very easily, but I'm telling you, this is super simple. It's just a black tablecloth is what most people use.
Okay.
And they just pin it on the back. So it's very,
Oh.
very easy. So just instead of the grid wall being see-through,
Mhm.
you have that backdrop, so to speak.
Okay.
And I think I have a picture fairly easy to find. I had last night I had kind of got a bunch of pictures together to put this to be prepared. So
No, I
um
understand what you're saying though, when you, because I could use tablecloth or I could actually get cloth and I could pin it. I could use straight pins or safety pins
yep.
to pin to the backdrop for the grid or the bookcase.
Mm, direction. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Mhm.
And I will be contacting you because I need help. I've never done an indoor event, so I'm definitely going to need some help. And we're also going to rent a trailer from U-Haul.
Mhm.
And that's relative because I have a SUV, but it's small. And I'm
Mhm.
finding that renting a trailer is something that I'll be able to do. So we're able to go big for
Good.
things.
Yeah. We have some exhibitors who do that and they're like, we just think it's cheaper than buying a trailer, we do the $26 or whatever it is to run a little trailer um and they like it. So this is, I thought he had a cover on the back, but he doesn't. So you can kind of see what I'm saying is it takes away from your display when you don't have the backing of the grid.
Right, right. I see it definitely.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Now is the time. Have actually another call here in about 10 minutes. So need to be wrapping up soon. But if you do have any questions, now is the time to ask them.
Hey, Melissa, I've got a couple questions for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I sell candles. This is going to be my first time doing an event with you guys. I'm super, super excited. I've been following you guys for a while now. So just to cover all my bases, do you allow candle people to use wax warmers or even have like a large hurricane glass to put a lit candle in? Or is that frowned upon?
Warmers, but not an open flame.
Okay, perfect. And then just because I'm curious, do you have any idea what your projected foot traffic is for the Marriott event in July?
So for the summer markets, we typically do about 3,000 to 5,000 shoppers on Saturday in one day.
Oh, perfect. Awesome. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So, well, since we're here and I have a minute, Melissa's always got to get her sales pitch in too. So I'm going to show you guys, see what screen is up real quick. Okay, perfect. The best page to follow on the Big Top website is bigtop.show/schedule. And that is where we post all of the events. And we do have some events that are opening up here next week. But basically, here's where you're going to find the full schedule. This will always take you to the what I call consumer page. It's more like the who, what, where, when, why. And then you click on exhibitor registration, and that will take you through registration. Some events are easier to understand than others. If you haven't been there, I'm not going to lie. Like our Conroe Festival, that's in November and February. It's so massive, and we shut down a portion of downtown Conroe, that we have to break it up into several sections. So it can be overwhelming if it's your first time registering with us. So again, like I said, never hesitate to reach out by phone, by email, social media, whatever you need to do. So that way we can get your questions answered. We can help you pick a spot. We can help you with whatever you need. But this is everything that we have on the schedule right now is listed. And then some of them, for example, like the Woodlands Country Club, actually, it's not going to show it on my side, but when you log in, there'll be a little thing here that says join the wait list. And if an event is not open for registration yet, you can join the wait list. And I highly recommend that you do, because I do review those wait lists as they come in. And what I like to do is open it up for returning exhibitors. So people who were at that market last year, they'll get like at least a week, if not 2 weeks, to register early. And then kind of going back to what I was saying about display, I will look at that wait list, and people who have the great displays, the great products, or regulars, people who come consistently to every single event, I will go ahead and pull them up and be like, hey, it's open for returning exhibitors. You can go ahead and get in. Or I will even pre-assign people, and I will say, hey, I've picked this booth for you, go register. So as the relationship grows and I get to know each exhibitor more, and really it all comes to me, it's all about display. So if you have that showstopper display, you have that great personality, and I see you slinging product and you're selling all the time, I want you at every single market. So then I can start pulling you up and pre-assigning you into registration. But this is a schedule, what we have for the rest of the year. So this is where you can go to kind of get it on your calendar and get all the information about our shows coming in. Alrighty, guys. Well, I'm going to sign off now. I really appreciate everybody who came on live to the training. This is something new that we've been starting up, but it's all about, really is all about participation, people coming on, people, asking questions and being open. We do at the last, so this month, every Thursday morning, we'll have a different training program. I don't even remember what the other ones are at the moment. I know one will be going over the Heart of Texas Fair and Rodeo. That's a 10-day event we do in October. We'll be going over that floor plan and some other things. And then the last Thursday of the month, we do an in-person mixer. So I believe, yeah, this one's in Spring, Texas. So I know it can be a drive. We've had people, they've driven an hour to come to the mixer, but it's really fun. It's just a really casual place for us to get to know each other, know the product, know the face. And it's not really about business. It's more about personal and social, but we invite everybody to come out to the mixer. It's the last Thursday of the month. So yeah, I'm going to sign off now, but if you do have any questions, please don't hesitate, reach out in all the ways. And we look forward to seeing you at the next market.
Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate it. Bye.